They call me the solstice because I only go out twice a year. Wait a minute. What's going on, YouTube? If you're a bit confused by the intro, that's because the actual code word for 2025 is actually solstice. Now, you can see that here on this Reddit page as people are bipping and bopping and talking about this thing. They say that the code name for this year's is solstice. Now, a lot of people are saying that that could be solstime and some other things as well. You can also see that somebody starts the discussion here. I can't recall where I seen it, but apparently there are signs that it could be Black Marsh. Also, I believe a YouTuber managed to get a hint about the next chapter with it being described as lush. That was me. I did that. That was my thing. Which is funny because everybody just refers to me as some YouTuber. It was hard to get out. And so what exactly is a solstice? Well, a solstice, according to AI Overview, is when the sun is at its furthest point north or south of the equator in relation to the celestial sphere. I know, riveting. Basically, there's one of these in the summer and then one of these in the winter. There's a summer solstice and the winter solstice. And that actually makes significantly more sense. But you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Jake, we already knew what the word was a few months ago. What does that mean? However, when you take the word solstice and you put it into the new 2025 direction from the studio director, it starts to paint a picture that you can start to predict, I think, very accurately. So we know that there's two solstices per year, the summer and the winter. Now, the summer solstice just so happens to line up with the very first introductory season that won't be announced until April, but it will be the first season in ESO. Now, a lot of people have been confused by this, but let's break down exactly what a season looks like in ESO. And because a lot of people have been thinking that they're just going to not tell new quest content, not tell new stories, that's not true. They explain here they're going to continue to tell great stories, but there's going to be a difference in release model because the story updates may occur every 3 to 6 months, or because this one's codenamed Solstice, I would assume we're going to have one in June, July, and then one again in December or January, which is also perfect because those are usually the 2 months that are the most played for video games. They note that with the changes to our content release model, please be assured that we're not abandoning new quest content, but we'll be doing it in different ways than we previously have. As a focus, we're not going to be adding gigantic land masses, although we will do that from time to time. It's important. Instead, we're going to focus on using existing zones and areas to tell new stories, such as continuation of stories in existing areas, storylines, and bringing back familiar areas. They're also going to focus on things such as the Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, splitting a larger zone across multiple updates. That's pretty big that they mentioned that there. And then they're going to also note that we're embarking on these changes to give the development team space to find a new cadence that we can mix new content and systems with addressing feedback on issues and adding new quest content and existing to existing zones. Realistically, will also save a lot of time. You don't have to redevelop a whole new gold, road area. Now you can just take, for example, they could go to the Gold Coast, expand upon the Dark Brotherhood storyline, do like a Dark Brotherhood season, and then kind of, go from there. Maybe add a new smaller little zone that's an island off of Murkmire or whatever. That brings me to an interesting point. And that points to some release dates. Now, you'll notice that Vardenfell released in 2017, which just so happened to be the 15-year anniversary of Morrowind, a great game. And then, oh my gosh, Blackwood, which was based on the Oblivion storyline, that released 15-year anniversary of Oblivion. You might be thinking to yourself, okay, Jake, I'm following. Where you lead me to here, buddy? And there's this little game. It was called Skyrim, and it was released in 2011. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a mathematician, but that would probably mean that the 15-year anniversary, which would be 2026, would put us in Skyrim. Now, I hear you thinking to yourself, Jake, we're focused on the solstice for this year. Well, it's important to kind of point out that the end of this year will be the winter solstice. The winter solstice will likely tie into Skyrim. if only there was an area inside of Skyrim that made you think of the word winter. You know, winter, if it is on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, that place, the College of Winterhold. That would be the perfect way to tie in winter solstice, Winterhold. Also, we've had the addition of scribing, which is kind of like spellcrafting light. It's literally noted as being like the precursor to spellcrafting. Spellcrafting, Winterhold, be a perfect kind of continuation. That does leave, though, that does not answer what is the summer solstice event, though, however. And I do think that that's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to guesstimate. But I do think it's awesome that the winter solstice, we may have Skyrim in 2025, albeit in December, and that will be where we probably go for 2026 if everything else lines up where it would be. And I also want to point out, too, before people say that this is a far-fetched theory, if you're the developers of ESO, right, and you're switching to a seasons system and you don't want people to be panicked that they're switching from the annual model where they release a gigantic zone in, you know, the middle of the year and then everything lines up. If there's a class that comes out then, if there's a new system like scribing, it comes out then, you know, now you're switching to this new model. What better way to get people excited and invested than by taking you to a well-known location that everybody's been asking for a long time? What do we know about this year? Well, we know that there's been tons of data mines for crown crates, but crown crates can be a bit all over the place. I mean, we've got crown crates from Khajiit theme stuff, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to elsewhere, you know, for example. But there has been a lot of focus on Sanguine. Now, he is a Daedric prince of quite a few things. He's basically the Daedric prince of demonetized words and OnlyFans. And he does not directly appear in ESO. He's one of the very few Daedric princes that you don't really interact with. You kind of see quite a few of them, even just in random side quests. Shout out to the time that you throw a ball of yarn to distract Sheogorath when he's a cat. That happens in a side quest. However, he does not appear directly in the game. Notably, though, you can actually see several of his followers in Shadowfen. Now, I have predicted that Murkmire would be a great place to go. But what's interesting is that we've always thought that, you know, we might go to a new area of Murkmire or Shadowfen, but there's a very real possibility that what they do is that they take parts of Murkmire, maybe they give us an additional island, an additional land increase, and they kind of just expand upon some of the existing areas there. And then they give us new quest content, which could be a continuation of the Dark Brotherhood, because they literally said, hey, we want to continue these guild lines. And I love the guild lines in the game. They could add more skills to them, all sorts of fun stuff. And then that could then bleed into where we go next year. A lot of people might be thinking, well, how does Murkmire tie in to the College of Winterhold? And I just want to point out that that doesn't necessarily need to be a direct tie-in. For example, a lot of these tie-ins are narrative. For example, going from Clockwork City to Somerset, Sofa Seal, yes, interacted with the Sigic Order in lore, and, you know, they obviously care about different areas, but there was really no direct reason that those two zones would be attached. Now, some of them are pretty obvious, going from elsewhere, from northern to southern elsewhere, but a lot of these things happen through just narrative decisions that occur in the game. And it's a very real possibility that instead of seeing a lot of the storylines that focus on big impending Daedric threats, we get a little bit more of a whimsical, or maybe of a more different type of storyline, a continuation of like the Dark Brotherhood storyline. We get to interact with like Sithis or somebody, you know, along those lines. Sanguine, because Sithis and Sanguine have both been data mined pretty extensively. And then for some reason that those lines then go into the College of Winterhold. You know, Sanguine is the guy of excess. You could easily see how excess, Forbidden Knowledge, College of Winterhold, there could be a tie in there, but narratively you could go there for any reason. The interesting is going to be, you know, this could also be a Mages Guild tie-in too. You know, they could focus on a continuation of the Mages Guild storyline. We literally have the Scholarium, which basically is just kind of shoehorned over with the Mages Guild. They could increase their storyline. And notably too, if you're watching this and you haven't read the studio director's letter, when these seasons end, all the story content is going to be accessible at any point. Like, you'll be able to go back and do the stories and the season content. So let's just say the first season is the season of the Dark Brotherhood. That's the summer solstice. You'll be able to go back and do that whenever. But I do think that this actually does tie us to all of the theories that I have together. My leading theory is we have a continuation of the Dark Brotherhood. We have some new Dark Brotherhood style quests. Maybe they increase the Mages Guild, because they don't necessarily have to do just one. They could add a couple quests through a couple different lines. We see Sithis, we see Sanguine. Maybe there's a Periites involvement. You know, maybe Sanguine, you know, as more and more people are scribing, getting into magic, you know, there's this debauchery and excess kind of going around. And then that will then lead us into the College of Winterhold, where everybody's just there causing a ruckus. I'm not really a story writer, so I don't know exactly how all these things will go. But I do think that it ties into Solstice pretty well. And Winter Solstice, Winterfell, or Winterhold, excuse me. And then we have 2026 being the 15-year anniversary. And every 15-year anniversary has tied pretty directly into a story zone update. But everyone, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would be chuffed if they would fill in some more Murkmire, some more Shadowfen, continue on the Dark Brotherhood storyline, and then take us to the College of Winterhold at the end of 2025. I would be absolutely elated. And if you're wondering, yes, I literally did hear that the winter solstice was happening and go, wait a minute, winter solstice? That happened 6 months from the summer solstice. 6 months? That's when the chapter happened. This all occurred to me when I was driving at like 11 p.m. at night. I'm recording this. It's 1:29 a.m. This is the type of theories that I have. This was not even the video I was going to release, but it came to me literally in a dream. So the voices in my head agree that this is my theory, but put your theory in the comments below. And as always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below. Second thing is just be subscribed. We're on the road to 26,000 subscribers. We're actually doing very well, so if you guys don't mind, hit the subscribe button. And the third thing is look for a hidden word be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. There's 1 word per month. The December word is still out there, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.